All right, welcome to the Connecting Right radio show. We are very happy tonight to have Hart School Board President Joe Messina here with us. Also, he is he's the radio personality on the real side with Joe Messina. Sean, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Yeah.
You and I were both sick all week,
Yes.
so our voices sound probably a little bit different right now.
Yeah, sorry, a little bit deeper.
Power hour.
No, we're better now. We just got to get over those last little bits. But we're gonna
Knock on wood.
We're gonna jump right into things here.
But before you start, let's be clear that I am not here in the official capacity of the William S. Hart High School board member.
Copy.
I'm
Okay.
here in official capacity as Joe Messina, who happens to be on the Hart School board
Right.
and a radio. Okay, good.
Did Joe Messina
So
approve
we're
of
clear.
this?
Right.
Well, I'm here officially as Joe.
Okay.
Tonight, yes. I can have some real fun with this, but it's your show. Go ahead.
Right. No. It's fine. We want you to have fun. That's the point. That's what we do with the show. We like to just have fun. Anyway, so we're gonna jump right into things. Joe, we appreciate you coming on the show. We've been trying to get you on for a little bit because in our community. Actually, I shouldn't say in our community. In a small group within our community, you are a very controversial subject. Yeah. And we're gonna talk about a couple of things that pertain to you throughout the show. The first two segments, and then the third one, we're gonna kind of go into something else. We just want to get your take on things as we go through those. So let's jump right into this. The first thing we're gonna start off with that we really didn't have a chance to get too much into. In our last live show that we did, which is 2 weeks ago, was the Julie Olson text that came out. So I said a little bit because we really wanted to get into the debate on that show, but we're going to go a little bit more into it. So the whole thing was a lot of people were attacking KHTS on this for writing a news story on this. It's a publicly elected official who was under investigation. When she was under investigation, and they wrote a story on it. It's not like they wrote a story and then all of a sudden she went under investigation. So and as we've said before, it's have your opinions, have your thoughts. That's fine and great and all, and go out there and stand on your soapbox and think that you make a difference in this. But it's really up to the board to do their investigation and make their decision on this. A lot of people can say that she needs to go or that she should stay. This is a non-issue, this and that, and that's fine and all. But what it really comes down to, and what I'm looking at myself personally, and I think Sean agrees with me also, is that we're going to see what the school board says, and it's up to them. It's not up to us to decide. That's why the school board has the committees that they do. That's why they have the guidelines that they have in place. Well, honestly, she said some things. It's not that big of a deal to me.
Yeah, I don't really care.
Yeah,
honestly, I mean,
and so the school board can decide if what she said was enough to remove her or not. I honestly, I don't know if it is. And so, anyways, one of the things that goes along with this, that where Joe's involved with this, is some people believe that you're the one that did all this.
I am the cause for everything, including the common cold, in case you hadn't heard.
Yes.
Right?
It's your fault that we got sick.
I am the punching bag here of the left, and I do mean of the left. So let's get down to this. Publicly stated, I had nothing to do with Julie Olson's hacking. I don't believe it was hacking.
Right.
And I have said this, and I'm not going to go any further with it. I hope she is the person that she claims to be, a person of integrity and uprightness.
Yes.
That when the truth finally comes out as to what happened, she'll come on and publicly apologize.
Yeah.
I hope the Mike Devlins of the world and the Anthony the Brezhnev, whatever his last name is,
no one really cares.
I hope they will come out and be the moral character they say they are and apologize to me, especially publicly, with what they write on Facebook.
Right.
So I didn't hack. I had nothing to do with her stuff. As a matter of fact, as I've said in the past, I saw what was coming down the pike, and I said I don't want anything to do with this because it'll just look like I'm attacking her.
Yeah.
Okay. To your point, it is a conversation with her and somebody else, right?
Right.
I get all of that. But when you're walking around telling people that you're the voice of moral authority and that you love everybody and everything's hunky-dory, and you're the first to jump on a guy like me, and then you write something that you wish a parent had a fiery death.
Yeah.
I mean, again, to your point, what she writes is her stuff.
Yeah.
But you can't say... you can't be beating your wife and telling her how much you love her.
Right.
It doesn't work that way.
Right.
Okay. And so that's hypocrisy, and they seem to only see that with guys like me. They don't see it among themselves.
Right. And one of the other things about it also is so KHTS wrote this story, and then she goes to the Signal to write an apology. I don't know why she didn't come to the Signal. Didn't write a story about it. They were completely silent about this the entire time, and then all of a sudden they're going to release her apology. Why didn't she come to KHTS, which originally wrote the story, and talk to them about it and say and put the apology out here? That's it's just most people know that I'm not a big fan of Chuck Champion, and so
really I had no idea.
She could have done. How about this? She could have simply even if she issued a press release and gave it out to several.
Everybody.
There's a bunch of news organizations in town, and I'd put this out there publicly. Here's the deal: if she really believes that I hacked her, all right, at my expense, we can bring a lie detector person in here. But she's got to come in too.
Yeah.
She sits on one side, I sit on the other. She can ask me a question. I can ask her a question.
Ooh.
Okay, and we go right down the line. And in that way because I am tired of those people on Facebook. What is there, like 25 or 30 pages with the same 10 people in there that are really stirring it all up, okay? Yeah. When they have a thought between the two ears that Joe must have did this, then it's gospel truth.
Yeah.
When we put something out there, even with truth behind it, it's all a lie and it's smoke screens and everything else.
Yeah.
It's hypocritical. It's a double standard, and it's what I've been saying on my show is they don't want equality, they want control.
Yeah. And so and that's a great idea. If she's willing to do that, I can no longer contact her because she has blocked me on Facebook now for I don't know what reason. Last time I talked to her in person, she gave me a hug and we were perfectly fine, and now all of a sudden I'm blocked on Facebook, so I don't know what's going on there. But maybe she thinks that I'm the one that did all this. I don't know. Which we did not. We did not do any of this. So, anyways, it seems to me that it's kind of ridiculous that people are. So she says this. People say that what you say is hurtful, and you should no longer be a school board member. But then she says these things that that people should these parents should die in a fiery crash, or this person is I can't say the word on the air.
Derogatory.
Yeah. Expletive deleted.
Cody got scared there for a second.
Did you see him run for the button?
Yeah, and they're like, no, and they're like, oh, no big deal. But then,
if they thought I thought those things, they would run me off the school board.
Right.
Now there's some parents I wish would move out of town. There are some parents I wish would go to parenting classes, but I don't wish anybody a death.
No.
Nobody.
Yeah.
I don't even want ill to come on people. There are people out there that have said pretty nasty things to me on Facebook. All I do is pray for them. I don't want them sick. I don't, because those people are parents. They have kids. I don't want them hurt.
Right.
Matter of fact, it's really funny. All these people having this Trump dysphoria thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I challenge anybody to go on my show, go back over the years, and ever find where I wish Barack Obama harm. Anytime. You can't find it.
Right.
Because I always said the same thing on my shows. He's a human being. He's a father. He's a husband. I don't wish harm to that man. I don't like what he did, but I don't wish any harm on him.
Yeah, and that's a lot of people sit there and they think that we hated that just because we're conservatives, we're actually libertarians, that we hated Obama and that we think that he's the worst president. We're like, no, Jimmy Carter was the worst president.
Yeah,
but we didn't necessarily agree with everything that Obama did, but it doesn't mean that we hated him.
You just shattered Jimmy Carter's happiness.
Right.
Carter's smashing some peanuts right now.
I was going to say, he can go back out in his peanut field and feel better about himself.
Oh, those guys on the radio.
Right? Just like, there's someone else that went and tattled on us to a elected official that's a state elected official. So we're going to get into that a little bit later. But yeah, I'm sure she's devastated also.
Yeah, she's smashing peanuts.
But everybody picks out things that you say on your show and then says that because of these things you should not be representing the schools.
I find this interesting. So first of all, first thing I would say is find me one vote that I've taken that's against any particular group or what have you. I don't care whether it's the black or the Hispanic group or the LGBTQ community. Find me one vote I've taken to do that. Number two is find me one thing I've kept from happening. Now, they try to blame me. I want you guys to be afraid of me. Seriously. Yeah. I am one of the most powerful men in the city. You know why? Because according to them, and we know who them are, my one personage on a board of 5 people kept the FAIR Act from being implemented here in Santa Clarita Valley.
Okay. What is the FAIR Act?
read it. You got it written down there.
Dave's gonna
We had
pull it up here.
the Fair Act it's the Fair, Accurate, Inclusive, and Respectful Education Act, and described by media outlets as the LGBT History Bill. It's a California law which compels the inclusion of the political, economic, and social contributions of persons with disabilities and lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people into educational textbooks and the social studies curricula.
So, to pare that down, that particular part of it is we are to tout or teach the positive things that the gay and lesbian community has added to the community. Okay, so that's fine and wonderful and what have you, and the law goes through, and there's no curriculum.
Right.
There is no printed curriculum for it. So we did have a certain group, and Andrew Taban, who's out there and talking about it, he brings flyers and other stuff that's been printed by other gay and lesbian groups. Well, that's not what we do. It's not what we're supposed to do.
Right.
All right. So we're waiting for the state to send us approved curriculum. It is out there now. And as state law says, and people don't realize something, the Education Board, the Hart Board, Newhall, Saugus, whatever, we are rubber stamp organizations. 85% of what we do is we tell the state, yes, we're doing what you told us to do. Yes, we have the reserve you told us to have. Right. Yes, it's a rubber stamp. So when you get down to this part of things, is they just recently have 10 different versions of the book out now that we can choose from. So what Hart does and other school districts do is it'll go out to a parent group, it'll go out to a curriculum group, so it'll go through the community, not the trustees, but the community. But I think it's asinine to think one guy, Joe Messina, held up that whole thing from happening. I guess the state even didn't do anything because they were afraid of me or something. I don't know.
Well, like you said, everyone,
I'm
the
just
left
so
thinks you're so powerful.
Yeah, right. I control the city.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
One man power team right there.
Thank
Joe.
you.
We're going to take a quick break, and then there's been certain groups on Facebook that have expressed concerns about what you've posted on your radio show page and site.
That.
So we're going to ask you about some of those. Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Stand by.
Mission Valley Bank puts the community in community banking. They strive to be your most trusted bank. Mission Valley Bank is happy to sponsor KHTS Holiday Music. Happy holidays!
KHTS Holiday Music also brought to you by Chiquita Canyon.
From all of us at Chiquita Canyon, we'd like to wish you and your family a happy, prosperous holiday season. This year, Chiquita Canyon is proud to sponsor holiday music on your local hometown station, KHTS. Happy holidays.
The magic of the Christmas season comes to life on stage with Santa Clarita Ballet's production of The Nutcracker. This captivating and thoroughly entertaining holiday classic, performed by Santa Clarita Ballet, features characters that delight audiences. Travel with Mary and her Nutcracker to the land of sweets, where she meets the Sugar Plum Fairy. Performances run Saturday, December 16th through Sunday, December 17th at Santa Clarita Performing Arts Center at COC. Call 251-0366 or visit santaclaritaballet.net.
Frontier Toyota has teamed up with the Santa Clarita Sheriffs for this year's Holiday Toy Drive. Spread joy to a child by bringing a new toy to Frontier Toyota on Valencia Boulevard and Creekside. Test drive Frontier Toyota's most enticing new models, including the exciting 2018 Camry. Join KHTS on Wednesday, December 6th as we kick off the holiday season with choruses from throughout our Santa Clarita schools. The Santa Clarita Sheriff Toy Drive and Frontier Toyota, a tradition of giving back to Santa Clarita.
Men, are you feeling tired, stressed, or just don't have the energy you used to? Did you know this could be related to decreased testosterone levels? Luckily, there's a safe, effective solution. Weeder Prime helps support healthy testosterone levels with clinically tested key ingredients. Just 2 capsules of Weeder Prime each day can help change your mood, energy, focus, body fat, and lean muscle. Feel the way you felt 10, 20, even 30 years ago. Rediscover your Prime with Weeder Prime. To find a retailer near you, visit WeederPrime.com. That's WEIDER Prime.com.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
All right, welcome back to the Connecting Right radio show with special guest Joe Messina. And we're going to get back, if you listen to the first part, we talked about Joe, and some of these texts that went out and with Julie Olson and everything. We're letting the school board handle that. It's not up to us. It's not up to anybody that agrees or disagrees with what's going on. It's up to the school board. Anyways, we're going to move on past that. And Joe has been quite a bit of a controversial subject,
to say the least.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amongst a group within our community. Yes. So we're going to go ahead and address some of these issues.
Yeah.
That these people have, and we're going back up to like 3 years ago. Just because some of them aren't even worth talking about, but there's some that we felt that were worth mentioning.
All right, Joe, are you ready for this?
Hey, whatever.
Okay, specifically I saw there was a lot of anger and animosity towards two specific memes that your Facebook page put out. The first one was depicting Hillary Clinton being taken to the gallows.
Right.
And the second one was a monument that basically compared abortion and gay marriage to slavery and the Holocaust.
So let's deal with the first one first.
Okay.
And I always love this because guys like Mike Devlin, who think that they're the PC police in town here, and you have to give them the information he asks for, but he has to give you nothing. All right. When these memes have gone up, and I've pulled some of them down right away because I'm a kind of guy that goes, if I agree with the meme or what's said, I'm not pulling it down. I don't care who you are.
So not everything that's put up is put up by you.
Well, I'm going to get to that in a minute,
Okay.
right? So I told Mike because I tried to play nice with some of the people in town. I told Mike, I said, that was put up by somebody that worked for me, and we pulled it down that fast when we heard about it. The one with Hillary to the gallows, okay? It wasn't even funny, okay? But there was somebody from one of the companies. We have 5 media companies that we work with, all right, that post on my website, my Twitter, my Facebook. You know how it goes, right? I'm not up 24/7. It's impossible. So they go out anyway. It was pulled down almost immediately after it went up. All right, and so when I told Mike what had happened, he said, "Well, I need the name of that person." I said, "No, you don't.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have a right just because you asked to get the name of that person. Be a journalist if you want it that bad and go find it yourself. But I'm not for somebody who makes a mistake." They don't get fired right away. Because if that's what they want, then I want everyone. Julie should be fired now then, right? Anybody who makes a mistake it needs to go.
Right.
Then it's equality is when you do it across the line. So anyway, the meme wasn't mine. It was put up by somebody else. It was yanked down almost immediately.
Okay.
As far as the headstone goes, this is the part that Anthony Bresnikan won't tell you because, see, it's disingenuous the way they put that out there. I put up the headstone about the Dred Scott ruling by the Supreme Court and all that, all the bad things that I feel, all right, and the one was Roe versus Wade. And what I said in the article was that the Supreme Court got it wrong. And here's the funny thing about this. What's her name? Ruth Bader Ginsburg said the same thing that I said. I actually used her words, which shows you the disingenuous that they don't want equality.
Right.
She said one of the worst, and I'm not quoting her exactly now because it's off the top of my head, but one of the worst Supreme Court rulings was Roe versus Wade because abortion was gaining not popularity, but acceptance state to state to state. And if you shove this down people's throats, it takes longer for them to accept it, and you're going to have a long time war. Well, guess what? It's taking longer for people to accept it, and there's a long war going over it.
Right.
By shoving down our throats same-sex marriage, which was gaining in the states, right? Every state would have eventually have accepted it over a period of time. That it would have been more accepting, it would have been easier because it wouldn't have been felt like it was shoved down our throats.
Right.
If he would be honest about it and go read the article that I wrote around that headstone piece, he would see that's what I was saying was, you know what? They got it wrong again. They should have allowed it to go through the states, let the states do it, let the people decide, right? We're a representative government. Let the people decide this is what we want because it was winning.
Yeah. So that's
a bad thing, I guess.
And that's state rights. I mean, that's
Bingo.
And that's something that me and Sean both advocate for is that the government needs to have their finger on as little as possible, and they need to really be allowing the states to decide what they want to do in their cities or in their states. So. Excuse me. Anyways, so there's that one. Let's jump to this next one. So this one, the quote for you, it says from the more sexual assault accusations, but they're not what you think. 4 claims hit almost at once against Judge Roy Moore. Interesting timing. Why not when he ran for Supreme Court twice? not during the primary, but now. And this was tagged with the title or the person who took the screenshot of this and put it up.
Oh, I'll say his name. It's Mike Devlin.
Okay, so when Mike put this up, he wrote, if you have teenage children in the Hart District, you ought to be aware of how your school board member views credible allegations of sexual misconduct.
Credible allegations. Okay. So Mike now is judge, jury, and almost executioner, but only when it comes to me.
Okay.
All right. So here's the deal. Last I heard, unless we've moved to Venezuela, okay, or wherever, last I heard we have due process in this country, right? Just because an allegation is made doesn't mean it's real or true, as happens against me all the time. All right. Go down the list of everything. How long did they hang out with Weiner? The Democrats, they wouldn't accuse him. They wouldn't say, there was pictures. This man actually said his cell phone must have gone off in his pocket, somehow had x-ray vision, and went through his underwear and took a picture of his junk and sent it out to some 15-year-old girl and said, there you go. But they wouldn't say anything about
Voice
that.
command.
Okay?
Right.
All of a sudden, that was okay. So what I was saying was this. Here's a man that has run, and we could, I know you're limited on time, but I could run through all of this stuff and show how disingenuous they're actually being.
Okay.
But here's a guy that ran for Supreme Court, okay? None of this stuff came up.
Right.
He ran for Supreme Court a second time after get thrown off for having the Ten Commandments put on the front lawn of the court, which is what sits at the Supreme Court in Washington. But that's beside the point. Gets thrown off a second time, okay? But he gets voted on a second time. No allegations. He's running in a primary. No allegations. Okay. Then when he runs this time around, 4 people pop up, but only after he starts to get an 11-point lead. All of a sudden, bang! There's 4 people that pop up.
Yeah.
When have you ever seen that happen before? Usually, one person comes out, then the other one gets the guts to come out. Then another one says, "Well, 2 came out. I need." Then it kind of makes sense. And then Gloria Allred comes out, and she's got the. The minute she gets involved, I go, okay, now everything is suspect.
Yeah.
So he says I was victim shaming. Isn't that rich for somebody who voted for Hillary Clinton, the biggest victim shamer on the face of the planet? She went after every one of the people that accused Billy Bob of having sex with them or forcing himself on them. He had to pay some of them off, but yet they're going to come out with some kind of moral high ground and say that I'm a victim shamer. All I'm saying is he's due process.
Yeah.
That's how it goes, right? If those women, and now I'm going to be blunt about it,
Yeah.
if it comes out that he did assault them, he needs to be found guilty, put in general lockup, and not be watched. Let things fall where they fall.
Yeah.
Let the inmates
Yeah.
run his.
Because I think the
This
argument
sentence.
a lot of people say is that the whole hashtag Me Too movement has kind of led all these other accusations to come out, and it's where women have come forward and it's kind of snowballed. I mean, do you feel like that's part of it, or do you think that this is?
I think we have to be
it's on.
really careful because look at the Duke lacrosse team, right? Nobody wants to talk about that, but what? Al Sharpton came running to this young girl's aid. Everybody hung that lacrosse team, and what do we find out? It was all fake.
Yeah.
All right. This is what I'm saying. I don't care whether you're a Democrat or Republican. I mean, who is it? Al Frankenstein. I mean, Al Franken. He's admitted to it. A lot of these guys have admitted to it. They should step down, step aside, go get help.
Right.
The ones that haven't admitted to it, that say it's wrong, it's not right, and then they deserve to get due process.
Yeah, and that's the right as an American.
I haven't found anything yet that even should give anybody pause that I'm too far right.
And I believe that he's still leading in the polls at this time, and their election's coming up on December 12th, I believe.
I think the problem is that the left keeps screaming so much about how bad and how, just pounding away at how bad we are, that people, it's now falling on deaf ears.
Yeah.
It's like telling your kid for the 16th time to stop it. He doesn't hear you anymore.
Yeah. So we're gonna move on to the next one. This one is by Julie Hannett. So another one of
She's a lover of mine. You know that, right?
She's your biggest supporter.
She's gone through every one of my sites. But you know what's funny about these people? I've been 9 years doing stories on Facebook and other places. They pick these certain ones to come on. But when I write about how bad sex slavery is, child slavery, all that, they never respond. So they must be for it, right? By their own logic, they must be okay with child sex slavery and stuff.
They're cherry pickers. They like to pick and choose.
Yeah, bingo.
So this one, this is from the Real Side radio show with Joe Messina page. Right. It says, "Good evening, friends. Obama Baltimore visit today to a Muslim mosque was a joke. He is a Muslim, period, and he should be arrested for treason. This is a total disgrace to the United States of America." Yeah. So is this
not my post?
It's okay. So this is another one
put up from somebody who was overzealous with one of the media teams, and I'm not afraid to be honest about it. I don't know if we ever pulled that down, but I know I told them to pull it down because it wasn't real.
Okay.
Do you think Barack Obama is a Muslim?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what he is, but I don't think he's a Muslim.
Okay.
Fair enough.
So let's move on to the next one. What do you got?
One of the questions was, do you feel, and I'm going to just keep talking until I find my question here, do you feel that exercising your right to free speech on your show hinders your ability to be president of the school board?
No, not at all. Look, here's one thing. I love when they say to me, and this guy is on the school board. Well, you know what I'm teaching our kids? If nothing else, first of all, if you're letting your kids listen to my show, your young kids, shame on you, all right? Because unless you're going to sit there and talk with them and really explain things to them, it's commentary about what's going on in the world today, okay? Number two is, why shouldn't high school kids, why shouldn't we teach them to be able to speak their mind? It seems like there's one side only that wants to allow their side to speak, but ours can't speak at all. If you're conservative, you don't have a right to speak out. Our children should be allowed to speak out on campus, have a voice, but not be unruly about it, but have a voice. There's nothing I ever say, unless you're on the far left, there's nothing I ever say that's hateful. In my show, most of the time, I say, question. Why do you believe what you believe? If you're a Democrat, why are you? Don't spew the party line, because once you do that, you lose me. You're done. Same thing for Republicans. If you spew party line when you come on my show, you're done with me. If you're a religious person, if you just spew what the pastor says, that doesn't mean anything. Why do you believe what you believe?
Right. And that's what people should have. And also, and that goes, because I've asked people before, I said, well, why are you a Democrat, or why are you a Republican? And it's, less taxes. We need to take care of everybody, and they just
can always fit in a
stop.
tweet.
Yeah.
What's that mean?
Yeah.
Listen, I have a gay talk show host on my show every Friday night.
Yeah.
All right, go figure. I mean, I have a gay talk show host on my show every Friday night, and we talk about all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to say it, and it may get some people mad. That small-minded group here in Santa Clarita. He makes comments on my page, and they call him homophobic. And he come on my show, and I said, are these really that low IQ people? I'm afraid of myself, but I can't look at myself or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't talk about anything. If they don't like it, you're a phobe, period.
Oh, yeah. Or some sort of ism or ist or something, and that's all they have. They don't. There's no context behind why they're saying this.
None.
It's just, I have nothing to say. I want to be right, and so you're this, and this. And with no reference behind it of why they feel that you're this way. So we're gonna go to another one, and this is one that me and Sean actually agree with you on this one. But you got called out on this, so we're gonna bring it up.
What's new?
I'm going to read the post first before we go into this. It says, I'm calling out William S. Hart Union's High School District Board President, Joe Messina, for his reprehensible post on his website. Not only is it factually incorrect, it gets trans youth treatments entirely wrong. You can see the post here on my Facebook page and the conversation Joe sprinkled in, defending, in all caps, this absolute danger, in all caps, to our children. And the title of this article that you put up on your site was called 11-Year-Old Boy Being Prepared for Sex Change Operation. Why?
Okay, so what I put up there, now I have somebody, I love these people who come on and talk like they're authorities, right? I have my fellow that comes on from time to time. He's what I call a double transgender. He went from male to female and back to male again.
Oh.
So he's been counseling people for years. And so what I said with this part, they can tell you all day long it's not happening, but it is happening. There are little kids that are 4, 5, 6, and 7 years old that are being prepared to switch genders, okay? And even doctors on the left, liberal doctors, are saying, wait a minute, we don't have enough data for this yet. We don't have enough data for you to be doing this. So all I said was, here's an article, and no matter what side of this you're on, now think about this, God forbid, I asked them to simply think. If you love your children, you care about small kids, I said, get information from both sides. Don't be so closed-minded that you only get information from one side.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, they could say that article is wrong, but I've got about 50 articles from experts in the field, and even from the American Pediatric Association, who say, this is wrong.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is check it out. Make sure before you make any life-altering changes like this that you get information from both sides. What's wrong with that?
I'm confused on this because, the libertarian in me, I don't care if somebody wants to have sex change, do whatever you want. But are there really people out there that are legitimately saying that 11-year-olds should have the ability? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Listen, I agree. 11's way
I would
too young
post
to be
them all, but
taking that kind of decision.
all the piranha would do in that particular post would just try to eat them all up. And and I'm not willing to have those fights anymore. It's just not worth it.
Yes. What you got? You got another one, or are we?
Yes, this is a big one. One of the big controversies was that you accused Barack Obama of not being born in this country, that you were, quote unquote, a birther. Do you feel like Barack Obama was born
I
here?
never accused him of not being. What I said was what any commentator would say. Look, I'm sitting there, and here's the deal. Ask me for my birth certificate, I'll have it to you tomorrow. And if I can't find it at the house within 48 hours, I'll have it to you. Are you telling me the most powerful man on the planet couldn't produce his birth certificate? Now, maybe he didn't want to. If he just got on the mic and said, look, I don't have to produce anything. You guys can go pound sand. All right, fine. But then when you produce it, you have people all over the place. Some say, yeah, it's 100% authentic. Some say, no, it looks like an overlay from... I was asking the questions. Now, they can spin that any way they want to, but I was saying, look, you've got all these things that people are saying. I don't know which one is true. Are you an expert on Photoshop? I wouldn't know if that was Photoshopped or not. So anyway, it's just interesting to me that you can't even ask a question without people
saying you're trying to push some sort of
something.
agenda.
I don't know where he was born. Were you there?
No.
I wasn't there. Only his mother was there.
Yeah.
All right, but if he says he was born, at this point... It's a moot point, right?
If I was
a twinkle in my dad's eye when he was born, so I mean, there's no way it could have been there.
If I was there, I definitely would want that on my tombstone. Was present for Obama's birth.
Okay.
All right, the next one. So we got past the birther. Okay, so then we're gonna get. Okay, so this Anthony Bresnikan guy. This guy, I have the hardest time with him. He has me blocked on Facebook also.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I've gotten Julie was number 2, the second person ever blocked me on Facebook.
I'm sure, Dave, let's be honest, I'm sure there's quite a few more.
Oh, okay. Well, these are the only ones
I'm going to break the news to you, buddy.
Because all of a sudden I was on one of the Facebook groups one day, and someone was having a conversation with themselves, and I called him out. I'm like, "Why are you talking to yourself?" And he's like, "Can you not see Anthony's posts?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Oh, he must have you blocked."
Yeah, there's 37 other people here. You can't see them.
But this guy, so he's been in Santa Clarita. I don't know how long, but not that long.
Right.
And he's been loud as of recent.
Right.
This is the same guy that when he saw us at the Judy Chu.
Adopt a town hall.
I just sort of he looked over at us, and I kind of gave him a head nod, like, "Hey, what's up?" And he immediately came right over to us and said, "If you guys cause a expletive deleted problem, you're gonna have a problem." So,
wow.
And I was just like,
He's got a crystal ball. You must have knew you were going to do something.
I had to stop myself from laughing. And then he went and sat down. And then once he realized that we weren't there to cause any problems, he came over and shook my hand and apologized.
And he was nice at that point.
And wrote a nice little post on us. And then blocked Sean because Sean had a gun in his profile picture. And now he has me blocked. So yeah, I don't know. From my standpoint, I'm sure the other people have talked to him and they said that he's a nice guy and this and that.
Can I clarify? The gun was just my right bicep. I'm just going to clarify that.
You got to be careful how you look on Facebook because sometimes you come off as or the way that you interact with people because sometimes you come off very weird. Anyways, so this guy believes.
Are you talking to Joe?
No, my right bicep looks like a big gummy worm. I get it.
But he wrote back in September a nice little article about you saying Hart Messina, wrong man for leadership role.
Yeah.
Now I know for a fact this guy does not have a child that's within the Hart School District.
Never seen him at a meeting. Never seen him I love it. A lot of these people that write in these things, with the exception of him, and I'll even give Susan Walker kudos because she was dealing with the Special Olympics, and that takes a big heart to do something like that. But I will tell you, most of these people that scream about how bad the community is or how bad I am for the community, I don't see them anywhere. I don't see them at the senior events that I go to. I don't see them at the youth events that I go to. And I'm not going to sit here and give you a list of everything I do because it's not the kind of guy I am. But I do a lot in this community. Yeah. All right. I don't see them anywhere but on Facebook complaining about the community. All right. And which I always love. I get the biggest kick out of. But even Anthony, I mean, why do you come up to Santa Clarita Valley? You came here because the schools were good, because the city's safe, because the water's clean. And yes, we have issues. We're not perfect. We have things that we need to clean up and fix and what have you.
Right.
Hart District has 21,000 kids. Okay. Last year, I think we had almost 600 families that were considered homeless. I didn't see any of these people out feeding them or helping them out.
Right.
Okay. But you come up here for the great schools, for the great city, and the first thing you want to do is change the school board, change the city, change the water. I find that like lunacy.
Yeah.
If you want to fix something, get involved, get appointed, be on one of their boards, one of their subcommittees, help them out, help to make a change. Don't go put your finger in somebody's face, say, you need to go.
Yeah.
Right.
What are you going to do different?
Right. And since you've been Hart School Board President, since you've been on the board, have the schools been in decline? Have we had any
No,
drop
we've got some of the
in?
best schools. And listen, it's not just because of me. I have 4 colleagues. We have 5 other school districts. We have a great community college up here. We value education.
Yeah,
okay?
absolutely.
And the funny thing about the education system, and here's where, and I'm not saying she's not, but if Christy Smith was on, she would tell you, we all work well together.
Mm-hmm.
We don't look at each other. There are 1 or 2 people that do this, but we don't look at each other, are you Democrat or Republican? We are all working for the education of the kids, and we all work together fine until some of these ideologues come in and try to change things, all right? When it comes to the education world, up until what happened last year, I had a lot of respect for Christy Smith. I mean, she worked hard to make sure that the New Hall education, you've got Susan Christopher, who's leaving Cal State. I mean, you've got a lot of these good people on these boards. We don't bring, and I'll tell you something else. If I brought my right-wing, Christian, hardcore Republican ideology into this, we disappointed a Democrat on the Hart School Board. Because they all say that I'm Republican no matter what, that I walk lockstep no matter what. Wow. Gee, I had 3 choices.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay? And we all felt that we all took 4 of us to do it. So these are just stories. These are just throwing things out there to try to get us nailed. So I would say to Anthony, what have you actually done for the community? Tell me something you've done that's non-political.
Yeah.
Okay? Well, on a long-term basis, something that you're causing and driving.
Yeah. And 25 up doesn't count.
No.
DAA
No.
doesn't count.
No.
We're talking about actually like doing stuff within like we just did me and Sean, we just did worked with other guys to do a fundraiser to help out the victims of the Las Vegas shooting.
There you go.
That are for all the locals here. And we're not doing it for like, oh, look at us, we're doing something. We genuinely wanted to help, and we want to be able to help out in the future also.
Absolutely.
For anything that affects our community. We were both born and raised here. We love this community, and we want to help it out. Whether people agree with what we do here or what we say outside of here, it doesn't matter. If you're hurting, we want to help.
Yeah.
And that's the community that we're in. That's the community that they need to recognize that they're in also. And I don't think that Bresnikan understands the community.
He should go to some of these. I challenged him. Go to some of these meetings. Look, I'm the one. I don't see any of those heavy hitters in their team. Right now, the senior center is building a new they're building a new complex. Okay. And again, please don't take this like I'm trying to tell you how great I am, because I'm not. All right. But I'm donating my time to help lay out the technology stuff there.
Right.
All right. To help get bids, to help bring things in, to make sure stuff gets done.
Yeah.
I don't want to be paid for it. I don't even want a plaque or kudos or anything like that. I just know if we take care of our young and we take care of our seniors, we'll have a strong community.
Yeah. Okay. And people that come up to our, I mean, I've met quite a few people that have moved into our community, and they ask me, they say, so what's going on, this and that? And I said, just lay low, see what's going on, try to get to events that you can and stuff like that. See what our community is about before you judge the community, or before you start deciding what's good or bad for the community. And most of them all think that's fair, but then there's people like him who just come in and bull in a china shop thinking that they know what's best for everybody else.
I didn't see, I went on Thanksgiving Day. Flo Lawrence, staunch Democrat, wonderful. You know who he is?
Yeah, I know Flo.
Gotta love that man. I love him. I mean that sincerely. We part ways in politics, but every other way we're right on board with each other. We're blessed to have a man like him. He helps drive that thing at the senior center. Okay. And I may screw up the numbers here. Don't feel bad, but they fed 300 people that day. They sent 300 meals home. People that were shut in, they sent a couple of hundred meals home for that. Yeah. You know what? I was there with my grandchildren. Yeah. Okay, and I was there because I know the older folks, they love talking to the young kids, right? Yeah. Again, doesn't make me a hero, but the only other guy that I see there, the hardcore Dem that's prominent, is Alan Cameron. I think he was a little under the weather this year, but he's usually there every year. So where are these people? Yeah, where are these people complaining on Facebook?
Well, hopefully they can eventually get out and start actually doing something in the community besides sitting behind a computer screen.
If you don't get behind a computer, you can't
we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about Katie Hill and Bryan Caforio. And we're going to let you get your thoughts in on that, but we have some things to say about that whole situation. So
excellent.
Jess Phoenix is running also, but whatever.
And like 7 other people. But,
yeah, we'll be back.
Every year, thousands of local children, teens, and adults receive treatment at the Child and Family Center for depression, anger, anxiety, abuse, thoughts of suicide, and drug and alcohol addictions. Our professional staff provides outpatient services at office locations, in the home, the community, and on many elementary, junior, and high school campuses throughout our valley. If you need help, contact Child and Family Center at 259-9439 or childfamilycenter.org. Improving lives, one family at a time.
It can happen at any time. Breaking news in the Santa Clarita Valley. KHTS has you covered. Brush fires, emergency freeway closures, police activity. If it's happening in the SCV, we'll let you know about it with our breaking news coverage. Keep a channel preset to your hometown station, KHTS.
The anticipation of having a baby brings much excitement and hundreds of decisions. When choosing where to have your baby, choose the best. Providence St. Joseph Medical Center. The new Women's Pavilion combines expertly trained medical staff with luxurious labor and delivery suites and the area's most advanced neonatal intensive care unit. You and your new baby will get the best start possible. For more information and a tour, call 1-888-HEALING. The road to healing leads to Providence.
I listen to it all day, every day.
Hometown, your hometown station.
All right, welcome back to the Connecting Right Radio Show. We have our guest Joe Messina here with us. We did a little bit. We got a lot into Joe in those first two segments, but now we're going to go into something else.
Yeah,
here.
and again, if you missed any of it, you be sure to download the KHTS app on Google Play or Android Store, where you can go back and listen to this entire broadcast.
Yes, again. And you can listen to our interview with Katie Hill that we did a few weeks ago, which has caused her some problems from what I've heard from some leaks inside of the Caforio camp.
That was a beautiful segue, by the way. That was just spot on perfect.
And so we've heard some leaks from the Caforio camp that they are allegedly going to be putting out national ads or local ads, just some sort of ads, attacking Katie Hill for coming on our show. A lot of people, most of you know that me and Sean used to do a podcast called The Triggering. Why don't you tell them a little bit about what The Triggering was about?
The entire... It was offensive. It was off the wall. There was nothing scripted. It was... As a direct result of, we felt that we were at a point in this country where we couldn't have conversation about topics anymore, that certain things would be off topic. So we said, you know what, we're going to push those boundaries. We're going to talk about whatever. If it offends you, good, let's have a conversation about it. Yeah. And that was the point.
And it was, and we said a lot of offensive stuff on there. It's called The Triggering.
Yeah.
It's
kind of in the title.
Yeah. If you read that title and go, oh, these boys must be saying something nice. Then you're
in hindsight, we should have called it NSFW.
Right. Yeah. So, anyways, and so apparently, from what we've been told through from these leaks, and we want to say first off, these are people that aren't associated with any of the other candidates that where we got this information from. But we found out that Bryan Caforio's group went to the DCCC and tattled on Katie Hill for coming on our show. Because we called Kamala Harris an unkind word.
Yeah.
It's in hindsight, maybe we could, even though it was supposed to be offensive and crude, we maybe should have used a different word. It's a word that Julie Olson used in one of her texts. So
then it should be okay,
right? Exactly. Yeah. Well,
it's fine, right? I mean,
but we said it was during the time when Jeff Sessions had his confirmation hearing and when Comey was testifying in front of the Senate and Kamala Harris was up there and she was acting like a perpetual child. She was not.
She's been very rude.
Yeah, she was not letting them finish their answers. She was cutting them off. She was being condescending. She was just being a total word that we can't say. And
she was rude. It was
it was disrespectful, and the way that she was treating these two gentlemen. And I have no love for Comey, but I'm still the guy deserves to have some respect while he's up there answering questions about the Hillary investigation and everything that's going on. Jeff Sessions, I was for or against it, but he deserved the respect to answer his questions and be treated fairly during his confirmation hearing, and she did not do that, and so that's what we talked about, and words were used that were unkind,
offensive.
Anyway, so we had originally asked Bryan Caforio to come on the show, just as we asked Katie Hill, we've asked Jess Phoenix, and originally they said, oh, Brian's busy through the holidays, but we'll be able to come on sometime in January. And then all of a sudden we find out through these leaks from the Caforio camp that they're planning on doing these attack ads. So I texted Nicole DeMont, Brian's campaign manager. I heard that you guys are planning on attack. I'm assuming that Brian's not going to come on our show since you're planning on attacking Katie for being on the show. And she just gave me the cookie cutter callback message, which I didn't get to talk to her, just a voicemail saying we're going to decline coming on the show. I'm sure that we'll see you around. Thanks,
respectfully
bye.
decline.
Yeah, and so since we can't have Brian to be on to answer some of these things, we're just going to talk about them. Bryan Caforio, in my opinion, I was going to give him the benefit of the doubt, and this kind of just I went like, all right, obviously I don't need to give him the benefit of the doubt anymore because he's being childish about this. They even went and told Kamala Harris. They called Kamala Harris' office to tell her what we had said. And from what I understand,
I'm trying not to laugh at that. I mean, just that aspect of it is.
From what I understand, they basically said, "So what? Like, we don't care." And now they're trying to tell anybody that they can that we said this and that Katie Hill is on our show. Anyways, Bryan tries to be the champion of the little people. That's what he says. He cares about all the little people and this and that. But yet he was when he was a lawyer. He represented. There's different things that he represented. We found this article from LA Times. This is the liberal LA Times. So this isn't. There's no bias here. And anyways, they said that he was part of a legal team that defended the Union Oil Company of California in 2013 and 14 when a group of 46 Montana residents accused the oil company of contaminating their property by letting petroleum seep from nearby storage tanks. Well, if you're going and defending a large oil company against 46 residents, that doesn't really sound like you're for the little people.
Which I don't know how many people live in Montana, but I would imagine 46 is probably the entire state.
But it's you can't come out and say that you're for the little people when you've done stuff like that. Apparently, it says here that he was only on it for a few months, but whatever. He was on it, and he
represented a.
But if you have if the argument is you have integrity and ethics and all that stuff, I mean. Why would you defend something that you felt either somebody was guilty about or I mean, this is not criminal law. This is more business law and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then
Why was he doing it?
And then last year or in 2016 during the elections, he had aggressively attacked Steve Knight for his slow response to the Aliso Canyon gas leak.
And yet he's representing a Union Oil company.
Yes. So come on, bro. Like you gotta pick and choose what be honest with the people, and you're not honest with the people, and that's why I do not want to see you anywhere near our district.
So Bryan didn't come on because we
said an offensive thing about
6 months ago.
It's 8 months ago.
Right, I should dig up all the dirty words they used against me, but I'm still coming on.
Right.
Which kind of blows my mind that you would refuse to have a conversation and get some dialogue, form a discussion, and move our country forward, and just say, "Well, I'm not going to do it."
Yeah, we are a right-leaning show. It's what we're called Connecting Right. Yeah. And Katie had the lady testicles to come on our show and do it, and Bryan obviously doesn't. She wants to be able to reach across the aisle and take care of all the people if she were elected. Just to be clear, we do support Steve Knight 100%. But if we are going to have a change, which I don't think we will, I wholeheartedly believe that Steve Knight will win in 2018. But if we do have a change, Katie Hill seems like a much better candidate. Even Jess Phoenix seems like a better candidate. So one of the things that he's banking on right now, the reason why he's going very, very hard left is because in June, when they have the primary elections, if he goes super hard left, all those people on the left are going to go vote. They're going to go vote for him, or so he thinks. thinks. And he doesn't think that there's people that are on the right that are going to care, which we should care, because we need to have a contingency plan. We need to have that backup. And that backup needs to be somebody that's not Bryan Caforio. It needs to be Katie Hill or Jess Phoenix. Now, I apologize, Jess, but I think that when it comes down to it, I think Katie Hill has a little bit of a better chance, or a much bigger chance. Sorry.
Unless we're wrong, come on the show.
Yeah, I mean, we've invited them. I still have to reach back out to them. They said they were going to wait on to see what Bryan Caforio said, but I think that that's not going to really matter. Katie's come on. I think that Jess it would be good for her to come on also.
Yeah.
But for all of our conservative listeners, go out and vote in June. Go out and make a point of it. Stand up and say that we don't want this guy. Say that if we're not going to have who we want, which is Steve Knight, then we want the second best choice, and that's going to be Katie Hill, and that's who we need to make sure is on the ticket going up against Steve. From my understanding, I don't know if Steve's going to be holding the office much longer by choice, and we need to make sure that if we get somebody in there, it's going to be somebody that's going to make sure that's going to take care of all of us, that is there to be a representative of the people, not to be there for a politician that wants to be in power.
Boom.
And I feel that's
drop that mic.
Cody
will yell at you though.
And,
don't really do that.
And
there's only a 2-foot cord. It won't hit the ground.
So just keep that in mind, guys. Even though we're the conservatives out there, and that's the basis of our show. That's our listening base. We do need to pay attention to both sides. We need to see what's going on. We need to make sure that we're making the right decisions out there for our community as a whole. Not everyone votes along party lines. We vote for what's best for our community, and what's going to be best for our community. If it's not Steve Knight, it is going to be Katie Hill. And if you listen to Katie Hill, she talks about why she's going to be a good candidate. If you listen to Bryan Caforio, he tells you why Steve Knight's not a good candidate. He doesn't sit there and tell you I'm good because of this. I'm good because of that. He has the Julie Hannits and the Anthony Bresnikins out there just pounding Steve Knight. They don't sit there and do positive. They're a smear campaign, and smear campaigns are never those people never work out in the best interest of the community. So make sure you do your research. Make sure you look at what's going on. Make sure you know who you're voting for when it comes to June. We're only 6 months away, or a little over 6 months away, guys. And when we get that primary, the last thing that I want to see is Bryan Caforio going up against, even though he's got the money from the DCCC and from everyone else, and the people in Sacramento, they want him. But the people in Sacramento are the people that we do not like, the people that are hurting us. And those are the people that we want to make sure do not get their choice in. We want the community to be heard.
Well, to your point that money's going into them, they're busing people up from West LA. The Democrats are to walk and call and everything else. CBS called me, asked me what I thought about it. How is that grassroots?
It's not.
I'm just kind of crazy because if they want him here in this community, why aren't they out?
Yeah. Unless the bus is like vegetable oil or.
I mean, Katie Hill's
must belong to that oil company.
Yeah, exactly.
Katie Hill's born and raised in the 25th. She's been here. She's been around. She knows what this community is about. Brian's a rich lawyer from Beverly Hills. I don't even know where he's from, but he's not from here. And let's keep it local. Let's keep it to the people that know what needs to be done here in Santa Clarita, as well as the other areas of the 25th. Katie Hill is your best choice as a Democrat.
Well, thank you, Joe, for coming on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Be sure to check out Joe's show, The Real Side with Joe Messina, on Facebook. Is that correct?
It's actually on 37 stations.
37.
Ooh, wow. I meant like they can find it on Facebook.
But it's hilarious. And K-Hits from 9 to midnight. KHTS from 9 to midnight, Monday through Friday.
All right.
Also, be sure to download the free KHTS app on your iPhones and Android devices. Now you can listen to KHTS wherever you are. You can also access KHTS news, social media, and more. The easiest way, Dave, to get the app is by going to your Google Play or App Store and search KHTS.
Thank you very much, Sean.
Absolutely. Just so you know, buddy.
All right.
The more you know.
Thank you again, Joe. Thank you, Sean. You guys have a wonderful night.
Absolutely.
And thank you, everybody that's out there listening. Have a great evening.